out warnings and watches and all the same sort of communication that you do with a hurricane.
There was a sort of a flaw in the system at the time. So post Sandy, we're able to issue hurricane warnings, even if we don't think it'll be a hurricane or tropical when it makes landfall. And we've done this several times now, not necessarily for New York, but for other areas, including recently with Fiona that affected Canada. It was a very similar scenario. And we do now issue storm surge warnings, which are connected to the most life-threatening hazard, which we could not or did not have in place at the time. And all of this was, at least it began because of Sandy. It was so high profile, so impactful that this changed the way we do business today, and certainly for the better.
Is it still changing? Is this a work in progress?
Science is always a work in progress, always, always. I mean, and certainly we're better today than we were 10 years ago at doing our predictions, and better today at communicating, and better today at like listing key points to try to feed the media and try to talk to emergency managers about things that are sort of most pertinent to the public. But are we perfect? No. Will we be better in another 10 years? Absolutely.
Well, the 2022 hurricane season is winding down. In fact, it only has 1 month to go. It begs the question, though, how common are hurricanes in November? Emily will be sitting down with Dave Williams from our Charleston, South Carolina station this week to discuss, so make sure you tune back in. Well, winter driving season has already arrived in parts of the Pacific Northwest. A blast of snow in the Cascades took drivers by surprise on Wednesday. It's a good time to remind you if your journeys will take you through this pass or elsewhere to stay on top of your forecast that might include snow. Let's go now to Seattle, Washington, where meteorologist Theron Zahn has more.
A pre-Halloween surge of snow in the Cascades has drivers talking about weather whiplash. Less than a week ago, the passes had sunshine and near record temperatures.
A little sudden. I wasn't quite prepared to see snow, but it's pretty. I love it when it's up in the hills. I just want to have clear highways.
But replacing the billows of smoke with flurries of snow is appreciated.
It is a little early, but due to this, the smoke is gone, so we can all breathe again.
For much of the morning, traction tires were advised across Snoqualmie Pass. This early snowfall is a good reminder that starting on November 1st, you are allowed to have studded tires on your car. Also starting on the 1st, all cars and trucks headed over the pass must be carrying tire chains, even if they're not required to be on your tires. You must have a set in your car or you could be hit with a $500 ticket. Drivers of 18-wheelers say their biggest hazard is not winter weather, but drivers with 4 wheels.
Lack of paying attention, not being prepared for what the weather is like on the pass.
They have this message for those drivers.
Treat us like a train. That's the easiest thing to remember. You don't pull out in front of a train, don't pull out in front of a semi.
This snow was a heads up for all drivers that winter driving season is already here.
As Theron mentioned, studded tires are allowed on cars in Washington state starting this week. They are legal from November 1st on through March 31st. And if your winter travels will involve snowy roads, be sure that you're on top of the latest local laws in the area regarding snow safety equipment for your vehicle. Well, our team of 200 meteorologists have a wide and varied interests. Some love hiking, others run marathons, and some even love a good Halloween costume. Yeah, this is Scott Hetzko from our station in Rochester, New York. This was from 2 years ago, but he posted it yesterday. And he posed a question, what will I do tomorrow now that tomorrow is today? Hey, we are all curious as well. As soon as we find out, we'll post it on social media. Just search at NatWX Desk. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we head to Texas to learn how weather increases your chances of seeing a tarantula. We'll have more right after this.
Meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have partly sunny skies in the Northeast today with temperatures generally around 60 degrees. A few spots in southern New England may nudge the mid-60s. That's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then as we go into the prime trick-or-treat hours here, I think most of the Northeast is going to be in good shape. Could be a few showers back into New York, perhaps northern parts of New Jersey as well. Then as we go into Tuesday, we'll see more scattered showers. Temperatures are going to be seasonably mild. Look for highs to run in the mid-60s. Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Happy Halloween, everybody. Starting off with some clouds, but unfortunately just in time for afternoon and evening trick-or-treating, 2:30 and beyond. There will be some showers from central and northern Virginia up to Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all the way up to New York State and eventually New England. So our next weather maker could make at least some of Halloween a little bit messy, but at least it'll be mild with mid-60s to near 70. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast highs for the day. Looks like we are going to continue to see those temperatures in the 70s. Raleigh, 74, 70 in Nashville. Comfortable temperatures through Macon and Charleston and the mid-upper 70s. You get down to South Florida looking at those temperatures in the 80s. It looks like we have an area of low pressure up towards Memphis. That's going to continue to move across the Mississippi River Valley, getting into the Tennessee Valley. A few spotty showers, so mostly cloudy with spotty showers through the southeast. But then we start to clear up through the overnight.
Now let's check to see the trick or treat forecast across the country. Let's start out in Albany, New York, where the start of the day, a little bit of sunshine there, but clouds are on the way for the afternoon and a high temperature of 63 degrees and then cooling down tonight, down to about 50 to 51 degrees with showers after midnight. And a look now at Providence, Rhode Island, where skies are turning rather overcast, high temperature of 65 degrees, evening showers, and then temperatures will eventually fall to the mid-50s late. Further south, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where it is beautiful, but skies are going to turn mostly cloudy, high temperature of 72, and tonight, temperatures in the 60s with a few scattered thunderstorms also on the way. And finally, St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, where you can see it is overcast. There'll be some rain moving in. High temperature, just 60 degrees, so folks there are going to need their umbrella and a warm raincoat. Temperatures are going to be right around 53 degrees. Well, what do you think of when you hear the word Halloween besides, let's see, candy? Do you think fog, thunder, maybe lightning? What about creepy crawling things with 8 legs? Let's go to Austin, Texas, where meteorologist Chicago Windler has more on some of the larger critters.
It's spooky season, and it's also spider season, so don't be surprised if you come across a tarantula on the trail or even in your home.
Oh, hey. Hey, whoa.
Thomas Holland had this surprise guest in his Cedar Park garage last week. And at Wild Basin Preserve in Austin, another tarantula caught on camera.
Central Texas has tarantulas all over the place. We have 2 species of tarantulas. We have the Texas brown tarantula, the Texas tan tarantula. Most of the ones that you see are the Texas brown tarantulas.
They're also some of the largest spiders in North America and can have leg spans of over 4 inches.
They're big and they're hairy and they just look scary.
Tarantulas can be found worldwide, mostly in desert and grassland areas. At least a dozen states in the South and Southwest U.S. are home to these creepy crawlers.
There is a lot of arachnophobia, but these guys are beneficial. They're going to eat things that you don't want in your house. Like, do you like mosquitoes? Do you like fleas and ticks?
Allison White is a research assistant at Wild Basin. She says one of the reasons of this season isn't spooky at all.
Prime time for the males to come out and try to find a mate. It is their time to make more tarantulas.
And they're on a tight timeline trying to make that connection before the cold settles in, which might explain why they're wandering out of nature and into neighborhoods.
They are just trying to find a good place to hide. They want to be away from really cold conditions. They also want to be away from really hot conditions. So in the winter, they're going to come inside or come into your garage.
I just know that when I see a spider in my house, my first instinct is to scream.
But these tarantulas are actually gentle giants.
If you leave the tarantula be, it's not going to come after you. They're not an aggressive spider.
They live in burrows under flat rocks or fallen trees.
This is a molt. So this tarantula shed his skin.
But word to the wise, tarantulas may not be the only ones in those burrows.
There's the scorpion.
So use caution. While tarantula bites are rare and typically not worse than a bee sting, scorpions are a whole other story. In Austin, Chicago Windler for the National Weather Desk.
As the days get colder and trees lose more of their leaves, more people are waking up to see frost on their lawns. We have talked about the difference between frost and dew, but how exactly does frost form? Let's head now to Syracuse, New York, where Violet Skybrewer explains.
Have you ever wondered how frost forms? Well, I'll explain the exact chemical process, and also the temperature plays a big role, because in order for water to change to ice, we have to be near freezing. So let's say our observed thermometer, which is above ground about 5 feet, sits at 36 degrees. So when you get closer to the surface, colder air usually tends to sink. The ground temperature will probably be closer to freezing, around 32 degrees, even with a warmer air temperature. But either way, temperatures need to be close to freezing in order to see frost. And we also have to have some moisture in the air as well. So with that moisture, the water molecules that are in the air, as they sink with that colder air and touch a frozen surface, which again, we need the ground to be close to freezing, that water freezes over to ice, forming ice crystals, which is that frost that you can see. And also some other favorable conditions to see frost is clear skies, light winds in order to allow those water molecules to settle down on those colder surfaces. Moisture in the air, there needs to be enough of it. Temperatures in the 30s and moisture on the ground as well. So some fun facts you can pass along to your family and friends.
Location, location, location. It's not just a thing in real estate. Location is also important when it comes to how your H2O behaves. Let's go to Salt Lake City, where meteorologist Lindsay Storrs explains.
Water boils at 212 degrees, right? That's not always the case. It only boils at 212 degrees at sea level. At higher elevations, like in Salt Lake City, look what we found. Look at that, only 205 degrees. So why is this? It's another one of those things that's impacted by air pressure. In order to boil water, you have to heat it up to the point where you can break the bonds holding the water molecules together and the water can evaporate. This happens when the internal vapor pressure equals the pressure exerted by the atmosphere. At sea level, the pressure is higher, so you have to heat water hotter in order to equalize the pressures and break the bonds. At high elevations, where air pressure is lower, the pressures are equalized at a lower threshold, and therefore water boils at a lower temperature. Next week, my friend Chef Brian will be here to explain how the lower boiling point of water can impact the cooking at your location.
Well, today is Halloween, and maybe you're going trick-or-treating later. Maybe you're going to watch a horror movie. You know, the weather often plays a role in such movies. Let's go to Kalamazoo, Michigan, where meteorologist Will Haney asked some folks about the ideal weather for just watching a Halloween flick.
If you were a movie director and you were creating a horror film, help me set the scene of, like, the weather that might be going on. What comes to mind?
Probably, like, rainy, stormy, thunder, lightning, somebody driving down the road.
It's going to be a lightning storm for sure, because that lightning could give off some really cool effects, you know, as they're chasing him and he's looking back, and it's just the lightning as he's getting closer. He can get stuck in the mud or what have you.
It would definitely be like dark out, a little gloomy, overcast, maybe sprinkling.
A light rain, and then maybe as it got more intense, it'd be like more dramatic rain.
I think some nice wind would be a good addition to that.
The classic sense is to go with stormy and rainy, but I actually think that a lot of the suspense can be built when it's actually a perfectly good day. Then it kind of makes you think that it could happen at any time and not just when the weather is scary.
Well, did you know swarming bees can produce as much electricity as a thunderstorm? UK researchers made the discovery by chance. They noticed that whenever bees swarm, there was a profound effect on the atmospheric electrical fields. Even though the weather hadn't changed, they found depending on the swarm density, the atmospheric charge could be similar to that of a storm cloud. Thunderstorm or electrified dust storm, well, who knows? But one thing is for sure, yeah, those bees are electric. And we'll be right back.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael taking a look at your weather story across the Midwest. We do have some scattered rain showers out across the Ohio Valley, but a lot of sunshine across the plains today, and a lot of our temperatures running warmer than normal. Rain continues moving its way out to the east, and look at all the sunshine for your Tuesday. Temperatures warming up into the 70s, some places approaching 80 by Wednesday. All in all, we've got a pretty nice week ahead of us across the Midwest with temperatures running pretty comfortable.
Happy Halloween. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo with a look at your forecast across the region. Looking pretty good out there for any Halloween plans. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy condition, highs in the upper 60s from Oklahoma City to Little Rock. Most of us across Texas going to see those highs in the low to mid 70s, 72 for high temperature in New Orleans. Showers and storms though overnight into your early Tuesday from San Antonio down towards Corpus Christi. The rest of us seeing those temperatures falling into the upper 40s, low 50s with partly cloudy skies.
Happy Halloween. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson, and here's what's happening across the West. We have much cooler temperatures working their way into the Pacific Northwest, taking us a little below normal through the day Monday, while temperatures stay cool in the 60s and 70s for Nevada, across Utah, cooling a bit more into the mountains. Now, a cold front sweeping into the Pacific Northwest is bringing in mountain snow and plenty of rain, which is going to gradually work its way to the east. That's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
These fish-scale clouds are known as a mackerel sky. Portland, Oregon meteorologist Rhonda Shelby says upper-level wind shear causes autocumulus clouds to form this pattern. And according to old weather lore and current forecasting, a mackerel sky means a front is on the way in the next 24 hours. Now, to this bird's-eye view of fall colors in western New York.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
We love the content that we get from our team of meteorologists, along with that steady stream of great content from you, our viewers. And I must say, you all have really outdone yourselves for Halloween. Some of the costumes are fancy, while others are a bit more straightforward, like this purebred dog from Oregon. Get it? Purebred? Oh, and these pooches from Maine are ready to go trick or dog treating. And some folks even managed to get their cats in on getting dressed up for Halloween, too. Here's a ghost-busting feline from Oregon. We'd love to share your weather content on air. You can find us all over your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search at NatWX Desk or National Weather Desk. And we'll be right back. Thanks for spending part of your morning with the National Weather Desk. Tomorrow, we'll look at the unique impact drought has had on California. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Make it a great Monday and keep your eye on the sky.